Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Metalmorph Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for January 2022. I've always loved the Metalmorph trap card from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. It was used by Joey Wheeler and Bandit Keith, where they would transform their Red Eyes Black Dragon and Zoa into their metal counterparts. This was really never, looked on upon more. I'd say maybe it's a take on the Assault Mode Activate cards, more for the fact that you use a trap card to summon out a stronger monster on the field, but just being able to get out Red Eyes, Black Metal Dragon, or Metal Zoa makes for a very fun deck and concept just to be able to use Metalmorph that much more quickly. It is a kind of card that summons from the deck like the Assault Mode cards, so I'm happy with the results of just utilizing the Metalmorph trap for all these different monsters in one deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the actual metal monsters, I'm running 2 Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. Now, this card really has no benefit to being better than Metal Zoa. It has 200 less attack. I'd say it has better defense, but still, I would say it's one of the more iconic monsters. Joey did use it to defeat Bandit Keith, but it was Slot Machine at the time. I think that won him the game. With this card, just like all the other metal cards, it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your deck by tributing 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon equipped with Metalmorph. So interesting that you just have to have the Metalmorph set up to then special summon Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. It has a slight benefit having 100 more attack than when Metalmorph is actually equipped on the card, but you still get a more powerhouse play with Metalmorph actually on Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. But like I said, this is a fun deck just meant to actually get out the different counterparts for the Metalmorph monsters. But you only need 2. You really don't want to draw this card, but you still want to have options to go into multiple copies if you have multiple Red Eyes or Zoa on the field. That's why I am also running 2 Metal Zoa with this card. Same restrictions. You cannot be special summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your deck by tributing a Zoa equipped with Metalmorph. So whether you have your Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon or your Metal Zoa I would say is definitely one of the better ones, but still going for the 2 of count because it does, require being special summoned from the deck. So drawing it basically just gives you a dead card in your hand that you'll either have to discard for other cost, or like I said, I have some other cards to make use of this banish in the deck. I also, for the monsters meant to summon out those cards, I am running 3 of these. They're a little more viable in the deck. So 3 Red Eyes Black Dragon. It's your go-to standard normal monster, but it can be special summoned by some pretty easy cards, because that's the hard part, is not only setting up Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field or Zoa, but also setting up Metalmorph on the field for you to use with this card. Once you equip it onto it, you can then summon out your Metalmorph monster from the deck to the field. And the other one being Zoa, running 3 copies of this card as well. It is a level 7 monster, just like Red Eyes Black Dragon, but once again having less defense but more attack than that card. But at least you have 2 variations of level 7 monsters to summon out onto the field, so you can even go for some rank 7 Xyz plays. And the opposite, if you by some chance get your Metal Zoa and also your Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon on the field, and you need to go into a rank 8 play, you have these available to go into. For some of the other monsters that I run in the deck, ideally I do want to run 3 Curry Bandit. I only have 2. It must be with my Karibo deck, but I would definitely run 3 of this card. During the end phase, if this card was normal summon this turn, you can tribute this card to excavate the top 5 cards of your deck to add 1 excavated spell or trap to your hand and send the remaining cards to the graveyard. So this is meant to get your search for your Metalmorph to your hand that much more quickly, and being able to set up other cards like Zoa and Red Eyes Black Dragon in the graveyard for you to special summon with some of the other spells we run in the deck. It is pretty risky. You could send the metal counterparts to the graveyard as well, but it's kind of the risk you need to take to at least be able to search and set up the different cards you use for the combos all together. And I also, for a little more offensive power, run 3 Dark Arm Dragon. You have the majority of cards in the main deck being all Dark Attribute monsters, so being able to, change the setup with cards like Curry Bandit, or just having the good variety of a few Dark monsters in the graveyard, and if not, special something on the field to meet the requirements for Dark Arm Dragon, gives you this level 7 boss monster that can not only destroy your opponent's cards, but then be used with your other level 7 monsters for rank 7 plays. And the last monster we run in the deck is just Armageddon Knight. Once again, going for the fact that it's much easier to special summon, whether it be from the hand or the graveyard, being able to then, when it's summoned, send 1 dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you can either send Zoa or your Red Eyes Black Dragon to the graveyard, and then special summon it back onto the field using one of your spell cards. that's it for the monsters for the main deck. Moving on to the spells, I run 3 Ancient Rules. You special summon 1 level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand. So if you search out that normal monster and then being able to summon it onto the field, it's much quicker than having to tribute out a card using Ancient Rules, just a special summon, whether it be Red Eyes Black Dragon or Zoa, onto the field. I also run 3 Summoner's Art. More search power with this card as well, just being able to search and special summon. If you have 2 of these cards in your hand, that's your access to whichever one of the Metalmorph monsters you may want to summon out. The more tricky part being getting Metalmorph into your hand, but as long as you have that first monster to go into, you can easily search out that other card using cards like Curry Bandit or just drawing through the deck with some of our other spells. For more of the special summon power, this one focuses more on the fact and why I like going into Red Eyes Black Dragon more, and that is Return of the Dragon Lords. You target 1 level 7 or 8 dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if a dragon monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard. So this protects Red Eyes Black Dragon. You have to remember that Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon and Metal Zoa are both machine monsters, so they won't be able to be protected with Return of the Dragon Lords, but it's just another easy target to summon a monster onto the field that is Red Eyes Black Dragon from your graveyard to the field to then set up your Metalmorph play. For some of the lower numbers for the spells, I also run 2 Forbidden Chalice. With this card, you target a face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. That target gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. So a good way for your metal monsters to attack over a good number of your opponent's monsters, or even negate the effects of your opponent's monsters, because once you negate that monster effect of your metal monster, there's really no negative effects to that. They don't have any additional effects on the field. They just have this slight power-up that might come in handy, or if not, be used to stop your opponent's monster effects. And I also run 2 Allure of Darkness. I decided with 2 Allure, just for the fact that I was maxing out on the numbers of Ancient Rules and Summoner Arts in the deck. I find these searches a little more consistent than the Allure of Darkness, but if you open up the metal monsters in your hand, they can at least be used for the banish cost of Allure of Darkness to draw into some more usable cards in the deck. And then lastly, for these spells, just 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Pot of Avarice. The metal monsters do have to be summoned from the deck, so at least being able to recycle them with Pot of Avarice is a big plus there for sure to rely on. And that is it for the spells. We'll now move on to the traps. Our main go-to trap in the deck is Metalmorph, so we're running 3 copies of this card. This one's definitely my favorite of the arts. There are 2 different arts available for it, but I definitely prefer the one where it's facing forward. You target 1 face-up monster, you equip this card to that target, it gains 300 attack and defense. If it attacks, it gains attack equal to half the attack of the attack target during damage calculation only. So going into the metal version of your monsters definitely does seem like a big minus. What I would at least try to rely on with this card is equipping Metalmorph onto your normal monster and then attacking with that monster, being able to hit for some pretty big damage against your opponent's monster, and then main phase 2 go into the metal counterpart, because you will gain the attack boost that Metalmorph provides, but also you won't be able to gain the attack boost when your opponent's monster is attacking into your own monster. So at least you can utilize and avoid the fact that your opponent might try to destroy Metalmorph and then have an additional card taken out of the deck for you to use. I also run 3 Trap Trick. This is just another option to search out Metalmorph faster. It is a normal trap card until you equip it onto your monster, and then all you have to do is banish another copy of Metalmorph with your Trap Trick, and then set and activate this one. It can be activated the same turn, so very useful. More of the time on my own turn when I use it, but still love using this card. It's just a quicker way to search out Metalmorph from the deck. And lastly, I run 3 Lost Wind. It could potentially be another Trap Trick search, that's why I'm running it. But also with cards like Curry Bandit, if you send it to the graveyard, you can at least have an additional graveyard effect with Lost Wind, and also being able to reset up and stop your opponent's special summon monster effects. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. It's a pretty generic extra deck. There's really not much for the metal monsters that you can fully utilize. I run 1 Pentastag to, if you can, give them piercing, 1 Beat Cop, benefiting from the fact that Zoa is a fiend monster, 2 Wee Witch's Apprentice. Once again, the majority of monsters in our main deck are dark attributes, so another boost for those monsters. Also 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Nightmare Cerberus. Now this can be useful for the discard costs for our metal monsters, then put into the graveyard and then recycle them with cards like Pot of Avarice, 1 IP Masquerena, and 1 Decode Talker. If you have Nightmare Unicorn and Nightmare Phoenix, you can replace both of these cards for those 2 cards for the additional discard power one Triple Burst Dragon, and one Borreload Dragon for the remainder of the Link monsters. And for the Xyz monsters, I run one number 11 Big Eye and one Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger for the rank 7s. If you have Dracosac, that can always be a spot for the rank 7 here as well. And for the rank 8s, I run one Dingirsu, one number 68, and one Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. You don't go into the rank 8s often, but I like having the options available to you, since you basically just have level 8 monsters with no monster effects on the field after you special summon them out. And if your opponent does stop them, you at least have these monsters to go into with additional effects. As for the go-to plays, I went through most of them with the actual setup, having just the fact that you need to get a normal monster out on the field, and then rely on activating Metalmorph, which can easily be done with Trap Trick, or if you can search it out, it will cost a turn for the Curry Bandit play, because not only do you have to tribute and add it with Curry Bandit, but you also have to set it the following turn, and then additional activation for this card to then send all for summoning out one Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. But like I said, this is a fun deck, and I wanted to see if I could make it happen where you can use what I thought was one of the coolest cards in the original Yu-Gi-Oh series in terms of trap cards. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.